Don't let her put your life in danger, part 2. Don't let her put your life in danger, part 2. What's up, everybody? My name is Kier, and you are watching the important things that really matter. Today, we're going to be talking about Don't Let Her Put Your Life in Danger, part 2. Now, before we get into it, would you please like, would you please share, would you please subscribe, would you please like, would you please share, would you please subscribe? I guarantee you that if you subscribe, that you will have access to information from my channel that will save you thousands upon thousands of dollars and also save you a whole lot of pain and suffering. And you need to go see part 1, which talks about don't let her put your life in danger. Part 1, which literally a female can put your life in danger. That's part 1. You need to go look at that one, and then you need to stay and look at all the don't let her put your life in danger, part 2. All right. Guarantee you subscribe, you share, and you like, you'll have access to information from my channel. It will help to save you thousands upon thousands of dollars. It also help you to save a whole lot of pain and suffering. And so today we're going to be talking about this part 2. Very, very serious subject that you need to know about. Let's start off by saying stress can cause you to go into severe depression. Extreme amount of stress can cause you to have a heart attack. Extreme amount of stress can cause you to have a stroke, and any other number of problems too. Stress can also be related to people having mental problems, nervous breakdowns and stuff, depending on how much stress that you are in. And so this is what we're talking about right now. Stress can kill. And so one of the things that you men need to know about is that around 2008, and I can't remember the exact time span, but from 2008 to either 2010 or 2008 to 2012, the male deletion rate, self-deletion rate, went up 60%. 60% of men that were deleting themselves. 60% of men around 2008, it had increased up to 60% of men deleting themselves. What do you think was the number one reason why many men were deleting themselves? The number one reason why there was an increase up to 60% of men deleting themselves was due to men getting a divorce. Did you hear what I said? Was due to men getting a divorce. All right. And so one of the things which is extremely important for people to understand is that if you marry the wrong person, the stress that you will be up under by marrying the wrong person can be enough stress to make you take yourself out of here. And so a lot of people don't know this, but 80% of divorces are filed by women. Once again, 80% of divorces are filed by women. Once again, 80%, that's almost 100%. 80% of divorces are filed by women. That's a darn shame, 80%. There was one female attorney who deals with divorces on a regular basis. The female attorney who's in court on a regular basis, dealing with divorces on a regular basis. This female attorney has stated that she thought it was more like 90% of women divorcing men. Now, the current number that a lot of people know, but not everybody knows, is that 80% of divorces are filed by women. But this female attorney was saying from being in court on a regular basis, she thought it was more like 90% of divorces are filed by women. 90%. Somewhere between 80 and 90. Whether it's 80%, whether it's 70%, 80%, or 90%, that's almost 100% of women who file for divorce. And one of the things that you may not understand is that there's a lot, when you're going through divorce, that can send you into a depression that is so bad that it can cause you to whack yourself. It can cause you to delete yourself. And so when I found out about the figures that came out around about 2008, about an increase in men deleting themselves had went up 60%. Not too long after that, a friend that I know, he called me and told me he was kind of sad. As to the reason why he was kind of sad was because he just found out that somebody that he knew had deleted themselves. I'm like, man, that's really interesting. I just came into some information recently, not too long ago, about the reason why there's been an increase in men deleting themselves. And I said, I bet you the guy deleted himself because he probably found out his wife was going to divorce him. I said, that's probably the reason why he did that. So what I'm saying basically in a nutshell is that you need to be extremely, extremely, extremely careful when you are even considering marriage. Because like right now, the bottom line is this: if the rate, which it is, that 80% to 90% of divorces are filed by women, is it really in the best of your interest to get married? Because you can get married real quick, but it takes a lot longer to get out of the marriage. Very, very sad thing. The fact that 80% or 90% of divorces are filed by women. That shows you who is the one or who is the gender walking away from marriage. And you cannot sit up here and say that all these women are being abused, because they're not. I personally know at least 3 different situations where the woman just came home one day and just said, I don't want to be married no more. I'm telling you, I know myself personally knows at least 3 different situations where the women just came home and told the husband, and they had a good husband. They didn't have no bad husband, they had a good husband. They didn't have a husband that wasn't on no drugs. It was just a guy that just came home, went to work, took care of his family, and paid for everybody, took care of his family like he was supposed to. I talked with a guy. Guy told me that's exactly what happened to him. And I grilled him. I said, come on, man, you're not doing any of these things. You're not going to the strip club. No. You're not using drugs. No. You're not gambling. No. You're not chasing after women. No. I just went down and just, no. I said, dang, man, are you serious? He said, yeah. He said, I just came home. He said, I just went to work, worked hard, brought my money home, and took care of my family and my kid. I'm like, man, I'm really sorry. I'm very, very extremely sorry to hear that this has happened to you, man. I said, what was her reason? Her reason was she didn't want to be married no more. She wanted to run the street and be a HOE. This is what he telling me. And the man had a kid. They had a kid. Like, why? These people out here don't give a rat's behind about nobody but themselves. You would think that people would stay together if you don't have a bad marriage. Why would you leave your husband just because you want to run the street because their dumb girlfriends want to run the street? But see, a lot of these women do not realize that their girlfriends are jealous of them being married because nobody wants to marry them. There's a reason why a lot of men don't want to marry some women, because a lot of women may not necessarily be marriage material. A lot of women have not been taught by their mothers how to be a wife. A lot of their mothers have not taught them how to be a lady. You can see how some people dress to tell whether their mothers taught them or anything or not. A lot of women have not been trained how to be a wife. A lot of them have not been trained to be a lady. A lot of them have not been trained to be a mother by their mothers. I had a woman sit up here and told me that her mother taught her how to be a HOE. I'm like, dang, are you serious? She said, yeah. I said, well, what did your mother tell her? She said, mother told me, go out there, have fun. We all know what have fun translates. Okay. Go out there, have fun. Get you this guy, another guy. See all of them, screw around with all of them, get money from all of them. Well, that sounds like prostitution. Well, it is. It's being an HOE. And her mother was teaching her that. But how many other mothers do we all know of that's teaching their daughters the same thing? This is the society which we live in. And then they get out there, and instead of them trying to get married in their 20s, they don't think about getting married till after they let half the city run through them, and now they want to get married. And they're not going to be able to adjust the marriage because they've been with too many people. So anyway, the amount of stress that a man may come up under by going through a divorce can literally cause that man to delete himself. All right? Now, there was a female attorney that had stated a man is going to spend at least $100,000 to get a divorce. That's at least. So let me start off by saying fair use. The female attorney told people while she was being interviewed, you're going to spend at least $100,000 to get out of your marriage when you're being divorced. One guy was talking about it took him 15 minutes to get married. Like I said, fair use. They had a guy who was talking about it took him 15 minutes to get married, and then it took him 3 years to get out of the divorce, out of the marriage. Paid over $100,000. Probably, it seemed to me like he played somewhere around about $125,000, $130,000. Okay, do you have enough money, or do you want to just blow $100,000 or $130,000, $150,000 on a divorce? Just blow the money. And then later on, now you fighting on all the stuff that you brought into the marriage, and now she won't take half the money. Okay? So what is the point that I'm making? The point that I'm making that is extremely, extremely important for you to understand and for you to know is that it's going to cost you a whole lot of money to get out of a marriage. It may take you $100 to get married, and it's going to take you over $100,000 to get out of it. And that's just like the minimum amount. This is what this female attorney was saying. She's a minimum of $100,000. And for a lot of people, it's going to be way more than $100,000. It might be $200,000 or more. And it took the guy 3 years to finally finalize his divorce. And I was reading where there was one particular situation where the husband and wife, they had been divorced, and 7 years later, 7 years later, they're still trying to iron out how stuff is going to be split. So you know every time you go back in court, you're paying money, you're paying your attorney's money. And in some situation, men, if you get a divorce from somebody, your wife divorces you, since it's like 80 to 90% of women that file for divorce, in some situations, the court will tell the husband, well, you're getting a divorce, you pay for your attorney and you pay for your wife's attorney. The same attorney that's going to be suing you for the divorce. Okay? So they may make you pay for your attorney, pay for her attorney, all the court costs, court fees. And you know what that's going to be. That's probably going to be well into over $200,000. So, once again, what's the name of this? Don't let her put your life in danger. Well, how can she put your life in danger? You could be under so much financial stress because of a divorce that you delete yourself. All right? Now, once again, let me take a side trip real quick. Please like, please share, please subscribe. Please like, please share, please subscribe. I guarantee you, if you subscribe, you will have access to information from my channel that will help you to save you thousands upon thousands of dollars, and also help to save you a whole lot of pain and suffering. Before you get married, you got to sit down and ask yourself, are you willing, if it doesn't work out, are you willing to lose $100,000, $130,000, $150,000 trying to get out of divorce? Are you willing to lose that money? Can you do a lot more money do a lot more things with that money? Yeah, you can. So you may want to ask yourself, and I'm all for marriage. I am all for marriage. I am all for marriage. I am all for marriage. You have to ask yourself, do you even really want to get married if it's going to cost you that much? Because for some men, when they go through a divorce and they get extremely depressed and stuff, when they go through a divorce, it might take 3 years, 5 years, 6, 7 years to finalize your divorce. And it could take the man up to 20 years to recover financially from the divorce. It could take a man up to 20 years to recover financially from a divorce. Please like, please share, please subscribe, and peace.